Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 86 of Cameron's Nostalgia Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strickland, and today I have with me Pat Fraley. How are you?
I'm good, Cameron. Good to see you.
Nice. Now, for any of the guys who don't know, Pat is a voice actor for Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story franchise.
Yeah. And for the toys and the voices and the rides and the parade and anytime, and this is back in the day, but anytime when Tim Allen, who created the voice, was busy. And I had a very busy 9 years. Do you want me to talk like Buzz Lightyear?
Yes.
To infinity and residuals. Hello, Cameron. This is Buzz Lightyear speaking from outer space. I protect the universe from the evil Emperor Zurg, strong enemy of the Galactic Empire.
You mean to infinity and beyond?
Yeah, I do. It's my little joke. To infinity and beyond.
Nice. And he also worked on the Little Critter video games.
Oh, did I? I forgot that. I remember I did Little, which was the turtle. Um, or the turtle in The Littles. Oh, there's my name.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. I forget a lot.
You're welcome. Nice. Let's begin our first question.
Sure.
So, how did you get interested in voice acting?
Well, I started and I learned all for 6 years in college and my master's in acting. Then I moved to Australia and I found that I was better at exaggerating big characters and doing those in plays that would be like French farce than subtle things. I wasn't very good at that. And later in life, I realized that I was really around my mom who grew up in deaf schools because my grandfather was the superintendent of deaf and blind schools. So my mom was very exaggerated and kind of funny, and I took to it. But later on in life, when I realized in Australia that I was better at big things, I thought about cartoons. And within 3 or 4 years, I was in Los Angeles doing cartoons.
Nice. Your voice-over gig first was Scooby Goes Hollywood.
Yes, it was a special Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. And Variety, which was the newspaper that you read in those days to see what was going on, reviewed it as Scooby Doo Doo Doo. It didn't get very good reviews. but I was off and running.
Nice. So, how did you work on the Muppets?
I think, well, I wrote a couple pieces for a TV workshop, and the Muppets were on that show. But I think I might have been a guest on the Fraggle Rock show or on Muppets. Or as I recall, I did the movie too. I did a movie called The Muppets Go Hollywood, or I was a journalist, but it was one line or two lines in the movie.
That's nice. You know, Kermit the Frog was one of the main characters that Jim Henson made.
Yes.
You can see there's Kermit on TV.
Yeah, I see him. Good.
And he was part of a Muppet show.
Yes.
Alright, moving on from the Muppets and Scooby-Doo, you got to work on Toy Story 2.
Yes, I provided the exertion sounds for Tim Allen's character who did the original job and was in the movie. Because, well, John Lasseter, who produced it in those times, used to call me Buzz Light because I'd come in and clean up his tracks and do what he didn't do. And one was exertion sounds. Like, oh, ah.
Nice. And you worked on Monsters Inc.
Um, Monsters Inc. I don't remember that at all, but thanks for reminding me. Monsters Inc. Oh, Monsters Inc. Yes, I did. In fact, I did one of the characters. I was hired to do exertion sounds for the Pixar movie Monsters Inc. But there was one character I did. It was the beginning of the film, and there was a big eyeball that is in somebody's lawn as they walk by. And my line was, "Hey, you kids, get off of my lawn." And I did get that line in the movie.
You got to be blobby.
Maybe in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I did several different things in that movie, but I had a line for that character, the eyeball. That was with Crystal and John Goodman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you worked on Charlotte's Web too, Wilbur's Great Adventure.
Yes, that was on for TV, I think, and I did that. I did that. That was a long time ago, Cameron. That must have been in the 80s, early 80s.
You voiced the donkey.
Oh, Badonki?
Yes.
I don't remember. I remember things like I did Krang on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You want to hear that?
Yes.
Well, what a wonderful day to rule the universe. Keep telling him about the good life, Cameron, because it makes me want to puke. Isn't that a weird voice?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little pink blob, was inside a robot the whole time, and I did about 200 shows. I also did Case Jones. Hello, Lawbreaker. And I did Tailspin that series, and I was a tick and Marshall on Moo Mesa, and I did Brave Star and Brave Star. So I did a lot of cartoons.
You did the additional voices for Chicken Little.
Yeah, I was the cheetah in the group, usually. And there was a band of little characters that would go different places in the movie. And I remember doing a cheetah voice a lot. But we do that after the movie is done, and they bring actors into the studio to add the additional little voices or when a line goes wrong. That's called looping or ADR, which is either automated or additional dialogue replacement.
Nice. You got to be Fragile and Sweets from the Box Trolls.
Yes, that was a movie, and I got cast as two little characters, Fragile and Sweets, which really one of the characters only has a payoff line at the end. But yeah, I loved doing that because it was a real big movie.
You appeared on two live action films, The Fisher King and I Am Legend.
Yes, on Fisher King, I was on the telephone before original of the filming of the movie, and I was on the phone with the actor Jeff Bridges, and I did characters, and the director we improvised, we made up lines, and the director liked it so much he used it in the movie, which I thought was wonderful. And I had a very good time with Jeff Bridges, who's a very nice man. Then I Am Legend, I was the only human being that was called in. I was the president of the United States coming over the radio for Will Smith, who starred in the movie. But they only had like three people, including me, that were real people in the movie. So I got high credits, even for one line.
You worked on Alvin the Chipmunks.
Yeah, I can't remember what I did, but that was a series for a long time. The funny part was when I was 9 years old, around there, I remember hearing David Seville sing uh, a song that went ooh ee ooh ah ah ting tang walla walla bing bang, and later on, his son took over Alvin and the Chipmunks. His name was the father's name was David Seville, and he did Alvin and the Chipmunks when I was a kid. He speeded up the recorder or whatever. And then David took it over as a series, and I got to guest on at least one show.
You should do the voice of Slick the Turtle from The Littles.
That's his name, Slick. Wow. And I think he only made sounds. I can't remember doing lines, but it was high, like Denver the last dinosaur, which wow, wowie, chips, yum. But for Slick, I think I did wow, oh, ah. So I'm jiggling my throat. Ah, that's the way I get that sound. I always did.
Nice. And you worked for the Smurfs.
Yeah, I played Tuffy the Smurf, which was a friend of Hefty's. I had lines like, I know, uh, I ain't afraid of you. Come here, salmon breath, to a cat, right? Well, Hefty was, everyone in the studio was raised, they turned up the pitch. And so the director kept going, telling me to go higher and higher. So I separated from my friend Hefty. It sounded different. And I probably killed a dog on Coanga. I was so high. I only did about four shows and they got rid of me. But I got to do Tuffy.
That's nice. What else do we have here? You worked for Toy Story treats.
Toy Story what?
Treats.
Yeah, maybe. I did a lot of McDonald's ads and all sorts of things, as I mentioned to you, when Tim Allen was busy. So I had 9 years of working a lot, and I got paid a lot because what the producer didn't know is that Tom Hanks, who plays the actor who plays Woody's voice, said that only his son, his brother Jim would do Woody's voice. Well, when Arlene Thornton, who was Jim's agent, heard about that, uh, she raised his voice from 700 to 2,700. And because I did so many movies and appeared so much with Woody, was paid the same amount every time I did the voice. So it was a wonderful uh, job to do. I don't normally do other people's voices, but oh man, it was a good one.
Nice. And hmm. You worked on the animated storybook.
I don't know what that is.
Did you?
Animated, the animated storybook?
Uh-huh.
Don't remember it.
You're Rocky.
I was Rocky?
Hmm.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember a lot because, I was 40 years. I started in about 1979 and really only recently have been doing less voices and more teaching now. So I don't remember some of them.
So, your son Harrison did Little Critter.
Yeah. And I appeared with him on the CDs of Little Critter. I think he did four or five of them. Yeah, well, that was fun. In fact, I worked with all of my boys sometime doing commercials or working. Yeah, Harrison was very good when he was little. His voice.
That's nice. You're the Woody's Roundup announcer.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I did that voice if it's in my credits.
Hmm. I saw a Buzz Lightyear balloon parade in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, when did you see that?
It was back in November 27th.
Okay. I wasn't in that, I don't think. I think Tim's not so busy with doing a series and making appearances. I think he does all the Buzz Lightyear.
And I have a VHS copy of Toy Story, which looks like this, for example.
Oh, yes. DVD,
You
or
mean
I can't tell.
VHS?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't in Toy Story, the original, but that was so good. I love that film. In fact, Toy Story 3 is, I think, wonderful. Certainly the end.
Nice. You got to be the title character, Denver, in Denver, the
The Last Dinosaur.
Last Dinosaur.
I remember auditioning for that. And the producer gave me their, okay, I want a real big voice. I said, well, you can't because he has a big body, but a little head. So he'd, wowie, whoa, cheers. And he really uh, made a lot of sounds instead of words. And so I had to work for the first and only time off the storyboards, which is about that thick, the storyboards for each show of the 65 shows. So I could make a note about where I would use a sound. And that's how I did the role. And I loved it and enjoyed it.
Nice. So, what other roles do you play?
Well, I played Slash the Turtle in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they used to just show me a piece of paper and say, okay, you're going to do this character. That was, and I went, whoa. And I said, what's he like? Well, he's insane and he's a turtle. So I thought, well, Kirk Douglas used to sound like that. And he was really emotional. So I used that as the base. Then he had teeth that came out of his mouth. And so I played him with the teeth. You could hear the teeth. And he was crazy. And so that was one of the many characters I did for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We didn't have a guest for years because the producer was very frugal with his money. But I mentioned I did the Brave Star character in Brave Star and Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I started my career by doing Japanese cartoons. I did Dan Guard Ace and Grendizer. And those were my first two series that I did when I first got to town. But through the years, I've done everything narrated, I've done commercials, but mainly cartoon characters I did. And God gave me the gift of doing it well through my mother and my genes.
Nice. Do you have behind the scenes footage or photos of the Toy Story franchise?
No, no footage. I really don't have footage of anything. I bought a couple DVDs of The Tick and other thing shows that I was in, but very few. I've seen very little of my work. I've seen the Ninja Turtles maybe 6 to 10 times, but very few shows have I seen. I was busy making them, Cameron.
Nice. You worked for Hanna-Barbera.
Yes. When I got back to the States from Australia and I came down to Los Angeles, where I live now, I only came down because Hanna-Barbera made cartoons. It was the only place in the world where they made cartoons. And so I had a champion, a guy that I had met who was a producer at Hanna-Barbera. And he hired me on Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood and also the Scooby-Doos where I started. And for it took me about 3 years to get a regular role on a cartoon series, but I stuck it out.
Nice. Well, Pat, thank you so much for your time.
Well, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful to God for giving me a wonderful, creative way of meeting my family's needs. And I'm grateful to Elaine, your mom, for introducing me to you, Cameron.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just think that I would suggest to people that they pursue what they enjoy Not a day went by for all my career that I didn't enjoy the work. I can't remember being upset about going in and doing funny voices for a living. And I just pray about it for all you, the folks watching, and see what you really enjoy. And all your choices should honor God. And that's it.
Nice. Stay tuned for be more guests coming up. Until next time. Peace.
Peace. Peace, Cameron.